Brothers and sisters, I was given a statue of St. Joseph sleeping just a few years ago. It rests on my night table next to my bed. It's an unusual image for us, but actually very common among the Latin American faithful and a favorite of Pope Francis. Recall that early in his life, he had a great devotion to St. Joseph. In 1953, the 17-year-old Jorge Mario Bergoglio found his vocation in the Church of St. Joseph in Buenos Aires. It was then on March 19th, the feast of St. Joseph, that Bergoglio became Pope. He has oftentimes written or spoken of his great love for St. Joseph. But again, I return to this particular image of Joseph at rest, Joseph sleeping, because its significance is a wonderful spiritual truth for us all. You see, it was when Joseph was sleeping, when he was at rest, that he receives the three great messages from God. Recall his dreams. First, do not be afraid to take Mary as his wife, for the child of her womb is of the Holy Spirit. Second, flee into Egypt, for Herod wants to kill the child. And third, return now to Israel after Herod's death. Yes, it was when Joseph was asleep, in a state of perfect trust and receptivity, that the message was received. And from these dreams, Joseph accepts the role of protector, defender, comforter. He becomes the image of all great fathers, along with all those called to nurture, teach, guide, and protect. And thus he is a great saint for us all. But there's more. You see, Pope Francis has a habit of scribbling out little written notes and placing them under the statue. Sometimes he writes out problems or asks for a particular grace or seeks a special prayer for the faithful. He says it's like asking St. Joseph to sleep on it, or perhaps put in a word to God to help solve a needy situation. I'm going to quote here in a talk he gave in Manila in 2015. Pope Francis said the following. He said, "I also want to tell you something very personal. I really like St. Joseph because he's a strong and silent man. On my desk, I have a picture of St. Joseph sleeping. And while he's sleeping, he takes care of the church. Yes, he can do it. We know that. And when I have a problem, a difficulty, I write a piece of paper and put it under St. Joseph because he dreams about it. This gesture means, pray for this problem, St. Joseph." End of quote. Okay, brothers and sisters, this simple but profound devotion of Pope Francis should speak to us all. It's why I now have a sleeping Joseph by my bedside as well. Don't misunderstand the Holy Father or me. This isn't magic, nor is it superstition. It's not like burying a statue in your yard to try to sell your house. No. This is a delightful, pious custom to help us enter more deeply into the mystery of God and God's great love for us, the God who still speaks to each of us in the midst of our challenges, the God to whom we, like the great St. Joseph, can turn in a state of perfect receptivity and trust, a God we can turn to in our sleep.